Morning everyone, happy Tuesday. It's a beautiful day here today, clear blue skies and the wind has gone, which is fantastic. And for the first time in I don't know how long, I'm not counting the months, we're actually going round to some friends and sitting in the garden this afternoon for a bit of a break, so it's exciting. So today's compliance over coffee, back on topic, is about sourcing being taught as a strategy when actually it's a business. What do I mean by that? It's something I've been thinking about an awful lot, and something that Trish and I have been thinking about an awful lot. And if I say to you that if you go on courses wanting to invest in property, and you go on a serviced accommodation course, or a HMO course, or a PLO, purchase lease option course, assisted sale course, you're going for yourself to invest for yourself, and you're looking at strategies that you might use to invest your cash in sourcing as an investment for you. But the difference is that sourcing is not a strategy. Sourcing or sourcers source those strategies. But sourcing in itself is a business, like an estate agency. You wouldn't necessarily say that setting up an estate agency business was a strategy. It's a business. And for me, there's a big difference. And it's that the strategy is just that, the strategy, for argument's sake, buy-to-let strategy is buy-to-let properties. They can be any size or shape. They have to give a return that is fit for purpose for the investor that you're working with. And they have to work in a certain way. But over and above that, there's no, from the investor perspective, once you've got your limited company or however you're purchasing the properties through or controlling the properties, yes, you're setting up maybe a business per se, as such as a limited company to hold them, and you've got management of them, etc., etc. But you've got that regardless of any of those strategies that you look at. The sourcing is actually that business section just in itself. That is what you're setting up. And yet people, I think, make the mistake of going on courses and learning about serviced accommodation and HMOs, and then decide, well, I haven't enough money to invest, so I'm going to use sourcing as a strategy. And for me, that's completely wrong. Sourcing isn't the strategy, sourcing is the business. And people aren't treating it as a business. They're treating it as a strategy that you can understand the strategy quickly, implement it and put money in the bank. And sadly, that's not happening in the vast majority of cases. So please bear in mind, if you're thinking about starting a sourcing company, or if you have just set up, that sourcing isn't the strategy. Sourcing is the business. And then you have to have an understanding of the investment strategies in order to source for them. Two completely separate things. And the act of deal packaging sourcing is a small piece of the jigsaw puzzle of getting that successful business, of getting it to run and to operate, to get leads in. I'm sorry, there's going to be some banging starting. They've got some work doing next door. And we've had them cutting tiles and all sorts of things this morning. So I'm trying to get in the gap. So my point is this morning, I'm trying to get the point across that sourcing is not a strategy in itself. Sourcing is a whole business that then sources strategies for your clients. So sourcing, how to source, is not the be all and end all of a sourcing business. It's kind of like compliance. It's probably just a small section of it. And so to have that successful business that all sources setting up want, there are a lot of other aspects that are needed. And if you've never set up and run a business before and you have no idea what it takes, time, cost, energy, and that drive that you need to actually be successful, then you need to join Trish and I on our lives that we're running. We have another one tomorrow night and 2 next week, where we talk about how we feel that sourcing is different from investment strategies and should be taught differently and should have different content and should focus on different areas. So I'd love to hear what your thoughts are about sourcing is not a strategy but is actually a business in itself, which then the sourcer has to understand the strategies to be able to do the sourcing. I'd love for you to comment. That would be fantastic. I will be back on Thursday with another Compliance Over Coffee. I hope we still have the blue skies still, and I hope it's sun shining wherever you guys are. Stay safe, have fun. I'll be back with you on Thursday morning for another Compliance Over Coffee. Bye for now.